Welcome back to CT Sports Now here on Vantage Sportsnet. Time now to talk about, as we do on every Tuesday, the high school football poll in the state of Connecticut, the top 10 and kind of beyond as well. Sean Patrick Bowley has joined us.
Hello, Sean. You have fun last week?
What did I do last week? I went to like 3 games, 4 games, 3.
Yeah.
I was trying to go to 4, but I was wiped out. Saturday, I was wiped out.
There were a lot of. It's interesting. We had some blowouts, and then we had 7 ties last week. It was crazy.
It was 6 overtime games, which I did a little research. I know, look, very studious. Did a little research, and it is the most in state history. Unless they played overtime games back in the 20s and 10s, I don't think so. They didn't have Kansas overtime back then.
Kansas
overtime
wasn't even
only
state back then.
What's that?
Kansas
yeah. But it was, I look back through all the results of the last, 15, 20 years when overtime became a real thing. It's been a mandate, not a mandated thing, but it's been a staple in CIAC football since 2008. And it was the most in state in 1 week. This happened in one night, but it was the most in 1 week. It was crazy.
Yeah, good
Right.
stuff. All right, so let's go. Let's get right to the change. Go right to the graphic, guys. We'll look at 10 through 6. This is as voted on by high school football writers and TV types around the state. And there you have it. Southington moving up from 9 to 10. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I've seen Naugatuck a couple weeks in a row. I don't think Southington was. Listen, Southington's undefeated, playing well, but it wasn't like they were world beaters against Hall last week.
No, they haven't been world beaters all year. Southington. I mean, they've been in close games. In the last week against Hall, they were only like 13-7 at halftime. They pulled away in the second half. They've done that all year long. They're still kind of learning the ropes, and they got a whole new cast in there, as we've discussed. Look, they jumped over Naugatuck, but hey, here we go. This is Southington. I mean, look, they can play ball. They always know how to play.
And I'm not saying anything negative about Southington.
No, I know that.
He would just rather them 10th and not 9th.
I guess. I don't even vote. Hold on. I don't even vote Naugatuck in my poll, so I don't know what they're doing
Have you seen Naugatuck?
I have not seen Naugatuck, but come on.
Okay, so I have seen.
I'm an Ansonia guy until they.
Are we judging who Naugatuck plays?
I'm judging who Naugatuck plays. Like I don't vote Ansonia. I think I have Ansonia. Might be at 7, but go ahead.
So I have seen Naugatuck. I've seen Ansonia as well, but I've seen
Naugatuck's
Naugatuck
good. I'm not saying they're not.
maybe 2 or 3 times. But I've seen a lot of teams, right? Because I'll see 3 or 4
seen more
games.
than me.
And I will say, and we can show you the video of it. Naugatuck wastes no time in scoring, and they appear to be able to score against anybody.
Right.
And this is a team that has given up very few points this year. I don't have the exact stats.
I think they have 3 shutouts this year. I think they only gave up points last week, but meanwhile they're scoring 50-something points. I mean, look, they're good. They're really good.
Well, you would expect
But
that
this is, Watertown's struggling. They're not great.
No,
this
Watertown's
year.
a little young.
Right.
And
their biggest victory was their opening night one, 14-0 over Wolcott.
And I've seen Wolcott play several times. They're much better than Wolcott.
Right.
So they were just getting
look,
accustomed to it. Listen, this team could throw the ball. They can run the ball. They play defense.
Right.
I'm sorry. I think at 10, at 9, Naugatuck may be undervalued. I'm going to say Naugatuck can get on the field with some of these FCIAC teams and play.
Okay.
So that's.
You heard it here first, folks.
And most likely they're going to get their chance.
Yes,
because
they
they'll
will.
probably make the state playoffs.
Yes, they're definitely going to make the state playoffs.
Right.
So they have plenty of time to prove.
And they're in double L, and they may be looking.
They're in L.
Oh,
they lucked out. They dropped down this year. They lucked out.
So I'm just saying,
So
these
good for them.
Greyhounds do not prove me
Right.
wrong now.
Right. Well, they got Hand. They got to deal with Hand somewhere along there.
Right.
So
Well, continuing with that second group, East Hartford has been another team that has struggled. And I don't know if we have any video for East
Well,
Hartford.
I'm sure we do.
East
But
Hartford-
they're winning.
they're winning.
Yeah.
They're struggling, but they're struggling to win.
Right.
I guess that's the point. I mean, last week it wasn't the case, and they beat Glastonbury up pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, Raekwon Thompson's he accounted for 3 touchdowns running, 3 touchdowns passing, and he also ran a kickoff for a touchdown. I mean, last week he stopped a 2-point conversion. The week before that, he threw the winning touchdown pass in the fourth quarter. I think Kid does it all. I mean, they're great. They're going to have their time down the road.
That team is about chemistry to me because they have a ton of talent.
Yeah.
If they play together.
Yeah. The one you're going to look at now, the one I think is undervalued is New Britain. That's the one they're playing at Southington.
We'll get a chance to
New
see.
Britain.
At New Britain.
At
Yeah.
New Britain
Yep.
this week. It's the marquee Friday night game. They're looking around. There's not a whole heck of a lot out there. That's the game. Everybody's going to be there. We had our guy, Pete Guaga, there doing interviews on Monday, and he said every news station was there. You guys might have been there. I don't know. And
Not yet. but we will be.
We've been there
I'm
before.
sure.
We were on. We've been
I
talking to Bucky a little bit earlier than,
Well, we
than
have
everybody
a full,
else. But
look for our full preview.
that's the type of team. And I've had college coaches tell me that school may have the most talent walking the hallways, not even football talent that's not even on the team.
Between them and Hamden and Danbury, although Danbury's playing really well too.
Danbury's playing well.
Yeah,
All right,
so.
Speaking of teams that are playing well, let's go back to our 1 through 5, our top 5 teams. Nothing changes here. Darien, Greenwich. We actually got a chance to see Greenwich play a Friday night game after having a week off.
Dominant.
And
Crushed Norwalk. A good Norwalk team, scores points a lot.
Exactly.
Shut them out.
Shut them out, and they just seem to have no trouble scoring. Tyson Camizio, right? He just announced, what was it, today or yesterday, that he's heading off to play at Penn.
He's going to play for his dad's alma mater at UPenn. His dad led the Quakers in rushing in 2, 3, 4, or 4, 5, and 6. Went on there. Sorry, Rich. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, joining his father. I mean, listen. He's got a long way to go before he gets there because they got a big game coming up this week. They're playing in the what do they call it? The Marinelli Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's put that aside for a second. We all know that story. We're looking at 2 teams, Greenwich and New Canaan. New Canaan desperately needs to win this one to get kind of back into the good graces, make it a little easy on themselves toward the end of the year. Greenwich, meanwhile, this is their big test, their first big, massive test of the year. The teams they've beaten so far, not quite up to snuff compared to New Canaan. So it should be really interesting. I mean, I have Greenwich number 1 in my top 10. You and 11, me and 9 other guys. And so this is the time where they get to shine. Now, if they don't fall flat on their faces, then it'll be all Dariennes. But right now, the way I've seen Greenwich been playing is tremendous.
Let me just say this, because New Canaan has moved up to double L this year.
Yep.
New Canaan does not come away with a victory over Greenwich. They may not make the playoffs.
It's possible. It's a good possibility unless they beat Darien on Thanksgiving. Same type of scenario. They did it last year. They went 8-2. I've seen 7-3 teams get into the state playoffs in the Class AA. I think it happened a couple years ago with Greenwich or somebody like that. But this
Fairfield Prep, I think.
Yeah, it was Fairfield. Yeah. It was I think it was 2 years ago, in 2016. So if they don't win this game, they're going to be sweating it out until the final points are tallied on Thanksgiving Day. If they don't beat Darien, they're in a lot of trouble.
So this is a big game for Pops.
This
is a big game for Lou.
They could even be a rematch. Now that they're up in Class AA, they could be the 8th seed, maybe.
Right, that's absolutely possible.
Yeah,
how about
you could be playing that game. Turn right around, play it at Darienne's place.
You mean they wouldn't play at Boyle Stadium on a Tuesday night?
They probably wouldn't play at Boyle. Who are we kidding?
So Shelton. Shelton has been winning games, not always exactly dominating games, but winning games. We thought, hey, maybe there was a chance that Guilford could hang with them for a while.
Usually Guilford does. Like last year was only 17-0.
Yeah.
But Shelton, look at this catch. Is that Jack Carr? I don't remember, but you look at the new field. I remember when that thing was a mud pit back in 2001, and there's Giorgio Gazal running for a touchdown. And they opened their new digs at Finn State, and they played their first 2 home games on the road. And I guess the Gales are just all fired up to finally get the offense back in gear. Jake Roberts playing well, the defense doing its thing. I mean, look at this.
Even when it's bad, it's good.
Yeah, even when it's bad, it's good. So they go into a bye week. They're the top team in the SEC right now. Unless North Haven has something to say about that, we shall see. So that should be interesting. But the other big game this week is
Daniel Hand.
Or Hand. Well, I don't think they play.
They have a bye. That's tough.
The SEC
these buys.
The SEC is kind of struggling this year, so we'll see. But our eyes on this week are going to be also on Darien versus unbeaten Staples coming.
Staples has been a surprise, right?
Very big surprise.
Listen, the Staples was an absolute mess, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but they were an absolute mess coming into the season. All sorts of controversy and
got
a lot of ugliness.
Suspended, and everything was like
and all they've done is win.
Yeah, Jake Thaw's got the guys going. I saw him through some great passes in that Ridgefield game. They wiped the floor with Ridgefield up at their place. Not a bad way to kind of signal your reemergence here. Hey, maybe Phil Triglio's got this team going, despite all the maybe negative news you might be hearing.
We're almost at the halfway point. Is this the season that you expected at this point?
I was a little surprised about the SEC. I mean, Xavier they're 1-3. Cheshire 0-4. SEC East Haven 4-0. I was looking back at records.
Raise your hand if you knew East Haven was 4-0.
East Haven 4-0. You've got Daniel Hand. You've got Shelton. You've got North Haven.
I don't think East Haven's been 4-0 since the late the late Krisafi Coach Kasafi was.
Yeah, well, they had a chance a few years ago to make the state tournament. They lost on Thanksgiving to Branford, right?
That was a couple. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was. They were
That
good.
was-
They
that
weren't
was good
4-0
that
that year. They were 3-1. It was a couple years ago. So there was talent, and the job that Scott Benoit's done there. Wow, we knew he was a miracle worker. We didn't think. We thought East Haven. No way.
We'll see. We'll see if East Haven can continue it.
Yeah.
Good
hope
job
so.
as always, Scott. Sean.
Sean.
Sean
You got
Patrick
the first
Bowley.
letter right.
Everybody
Listen.
always calls me that when they get my name
No.
wrong.
Scott?
I think I'm Scott Erickson. or
Sean
something.
Patrick Bowley, Game Time CT, shedding some knowledge for us. I'm getting yelled at in my ear that we got to go to commercial break, so we'll do so. Thank you for coming in, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the football field and back here next Tuesday.
Frank Kasafi. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on the press box. We'll be right back.